Good to go.
Good evening. My name is Janet Bernardo and calling to order the Needham Conservation Commission public hearing for September 23rd, 2020. It is 7:00 p.m. As a preliminary matter, permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Going through the board members, Allison Richardson.
Here.
Artie Crocker.
Here.
Bill is not here. Is Bill not coming, right? Peter?
Correct.
Here.
Stephen is also not coming.
Correct.
Sue?
Here.
I said Artie, right? Did I
Yes.
just check you off?
No, you
I
did.
don't remember.
You did say my name.
Okay, I'm like, I checked you off.
It's Thursday
okay.
night during the Conservation Commission meeting. We're on Zoom.
Okay, Deb Anderson,
Here.
Clay Hutchinson.
Here.
Great. Okay, so we're here and we'll deal with the people that are attending when they arrive. This open meeting of the Town of Needham Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. For this meeting, the Needham Conservation Commission is convening by Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. The general public is allowed to and encouraged to ask questions during the meeting when directed by the commission chair and through use of the raise hand feature associated with the Zoom meeting app. Those that have questions or comments regarding a particular hearing will be called upon in the order they raise their hand, so please be patient. All supporting materials have been provided to members of this body and are available on the Conservation Commission website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each hearing on the agenda. I will introduce the applicant and/or their consultant to begin their project presentation. After they conclude their presentation, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment or questions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and please state your name before speaking. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Okay, now we are starting our hearings. I feel like I don't see anyone from 631 South Street, so we'll go to 121 Charles River Street. And I believe Susan McCarthy.
Carter. Yes.
Oh, I say it wrong every time.
I did that last time.
I did. Ashley Rubens.
She is on mute. Matt, Ashley, you're on mute.
I want to make sure you can hear us and we can hear you.
Well, she's on the call. I can see that she's here.
Yeah, I see her name.
This is her husband, Andrew. We are on the call. We can hear you.
Great.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so 121 Charles River Street, there's a request for determination of applicability. And well, how are you what would you like to share with us? State your name for the record.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Susan MacArthur from MacArthur Environmental Consulting, and I'm here with Ashley Rubens and her husband, the applicant and homeowners at 121 Charles River Street. And we have filed a request for determination of applicability for the installation of an in-ground swimming pool at the rear of the house. And if I may share my screen, is that okay?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Okay. So this is a single family home, 2-car garage, bituminous driveway, a landscaped lawn in the back. There are pavers here already, a little like patio. And the backyard, landscaped part of the backyard is fenced in with like an iron fence. And there is a bordering vegetated wetland in the very back of the yard. This is the boundary of the wetland here. And there also is a unnamed perennial stream off, off property, you can't see it, but the riverfront area does extend onto the property, right there.
So the stream is to the west?
The stream is to, I can show you. Let's see, can you, not sure what you can see, but hold on a second.
The application at the moment.
Yeah, so the stream, can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is the site. The dot should be on the side of the street, but anyway, this is the Charles River's down here to the south, but this is the unnamed perennial stream that comes down. It kind of forms like a pond when it crosses Charles River Street. So anyway, that riverfront does extend onto the property.
So not the Charles River, but
No.
just the unnamed stream that
Right.
is it across the street or the street crosses? It
Across
goes
the
under.
street, right?
Yeah, it's actually on the same side of the street, but then it does cross through a culvert under the street at where it kind of turns into a pond.
Okay.
But anyway, so this was delineated in the past by LEC, and I just refreshed the flagging, and it does match what they had on the plan from before. So it's pretty much the same. So basically they want to install this swimming pool, and with the associated pavers, patio pavers around the pool. So this falls about at the 75-foot mark. So under the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, 310 CMR 10.02 2B, as well as the Needham Wetlands Regulations 1.024E, the conversion of lawn, which this is partially lawn right now, or probably mostly lawn right now, to residential structures such as decks, sheds, patios, pools, etc., are exempt from regulation, provided the activity, including material staging and stockpiling, is located more than 50 feet from the mean annual high water line within riverfront area and bordering vegetated wetland. That's under the state, and then under the local, it has to be 75 feet. So this, the homeowners have made an effort to keep this outside of the 75-foot mark from the bordering vegetated wetland in the back here. And
Are all the red lines dimensional lines, or are some of the red lines the extent of the patio?
yeah, I'm sorry about that. The red lines, I mean, Ashley could probably speak to that. This was a plan that was given to me. I think they were trying to figure out the design, and I think they were dimensions that, am I right about that, Ashley?
Yeah, those were things that my landscaper had drawn on for them originally, I believe. And it doesn't have anything to do with our final decision on where the pool was going. I just couldn't get them off.
Yeah.
So the pool, where the pool is going is where you show like the rectangular
Yes.
pool and the patio, the hatch that looks like patio.
Right,
Yes.
the hatching as well, and the blue is the pool itself, this rectangle here with like a little spa on this end. And then, yeah, and the hatching is the patio part. So, and then this, for riverfront area, the minor, the exempt regulations also apply under 310 CMR 10.58 6B, certain minor activities. It's kind of a circular reg, if you will. So that is about it. And Clay, I think you had gone out to the site today, and you saw my wetland flags you agree with, right?
Yeah, the site looked good. I also have some photos of the location of work. If the commission would like to see it, it's essentially an open area.
Sure.
Oh,
If
let
you
me,
can-
I'll stop sharing.
Thanks.
Oh, I guess I already did.
The ability.
You overrode me.
So this is the yard area, the back of the house, the existing patio behind the house, and then the pool is proposed on this side of the house. From this perspective, the wetland pocket is kind of back and to the right behind the camera, and the stream that the riverfront is associated with is on the other side of this house and yard, and the small avenue that runs along the other side of the house. So the property is quite a bit removed from the stream bank, and is certainly not in a natural riverfront area. It's definitely a developed area. This is looking out towards Charles River Street from the back. So the pool would be kind of in this location here. And you can see there's a little bit of landscaping planting here on the corner and 2 garden beds, but otherwise it's all manicured lawn area.
So no trees need to come down to install this pool.
Yeah.
No trees. And that's the wetlands back behind, and there's that pocket wetland. So the buffer zone that comes out comes into the lawn and then much further off to the left.
Did you notice the redwood tree?
This guy here.
No.
It's a metasequoia.
What's that?
It's a metasequoia, not sequoia.
That is,
Is that special? Sounds special.
It's not the California redwood. It's
right,
from it's lovely, but
it is.
Okay, so I'll ask the commission members if anybody has any comments. Allison?
no, I think it's pretty simple and straightforward. No comment.
Artie?
I mean, the only comment is in some ways, this is perhaps more Bill's comment if he was here, and that is, he asked a number of times, when the pools are being cleaned, when the filter's being cleaned, there's usually some type of discharge going on. What is the process you have for discharging this pool to make sure it is not going into the wetland, I guess, in essence, so the chemical is not going into the wetland? I think that's what we usually boil it down.
Yeah, he always asks, that's a good point, thank you, Artie, about how the pool will be, if you have to drain any of the water out of it, is there some type of a stone bed area that it can go to, so you're not like draining a lot and causing erosion? The chemicals, I think they balance out, you don't put chlorine in it for 2 weeks or something. So that's always what Bill asks.
Ashley, is that a saltwater pool?
It's saltwater, yes.
So I don't think they'll be draining it. I mean, other people I know with the saltwater pools don't drain it in the winter.
Yep, my understanding is we don't need to drain it, and it's actually a spa, so we can run it in the, it's a small pool. It's a kind of these plunge spa pools, so we don't intend on draining it in the winter because we can actually run it as a hot tub.
Okay, so maybe that eliminates his concern?
I'd say it greatly eliminates it. I mean, there may be some cleaning the filtration system, backwashing that, I suppose. I don't know in this particular case how the process of the saltwater pools and the filtration system, but our concern would be just if there is some type of backwash going on, filtration, then it would be exiting the pool area. Where would it be exiting to? That's basically it.
So I think any cleaning, maintenance, backwash does not go towards the wetland. So
Okay, and we are, the pool is on the opposite side of the backyard from the wetland area, and we will have some, like a mulch, little area back there, so we could be cognizant of that and talk to our pool people about making sure that however it's drained is done appropriately.
Okay. Allison, you had another question?
Yeah, that a salt, I mean, it's a small pool, but a saltwater pool, the only time you need to drain it a little bit is if the salt concentration gets too high, then you need to actually add more water. And then you have to add maybe too much water and you might have to drain some. So sometimes it's not, you never, have water leave the pool. It's just much less than, it's not every in the winter time, like you
Okay,
have to drain it down a foot or whatever, that's all.
So you want to make sure that there's some place that you can drain it. If there's a draining necessary, that you have a place that doesn't cause erosion, doesn't all of a sudden, so it's like a place with stones.
okay.
Yeah, I think you'll be able to make that, I believe. Peter,
No comments.
Sue,
It looks very clean cut.
so I have no further comments. So the pavers around, are those gonna be permeable pavers or is there concrete underneath all that?
I don't think they're permeable. I think they're concrete under.
So have you added a lot of impervious area? And is it trigger anything from our stormwater bylaw?
I didn't calculate the square footage of new impervious.
The pool itself doesn't count.
But the patio around it, no.
Yeah, I
Um,
think the patio meets the threshold without any without like an addition or something. I don't think the size of the patio meets the threshold to trigger the stormwater.
Okay, it doesn't meet the threshold. Okay. Okay, I guess then you're okay with that. All right, so anybody in the audience have any questions or comments?
There are no hands from the audience.
So if we believe that we have all the information we need, and somebody wants to make a motion, I'm listening.
So moved.
A motion to
Close.
issue, to close, we have to issue a motion to close.
So moved to close the hearing on 121
Okay.
Charles River Street.
Can I have a second to close?
Okay.
All right, all in favor, Peter,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Allison?
Aye.
Yeah, aye. So we've closed the hearing, and now do we want to issue a negative determination of applicability? And we usually, every now and then we have a condition or so, but I'm not sure what condition we would add, except to make sure that there's some type of a stone recipient for any, I'm not even actually sure what the language is.
Like you
Think
probably
we-
have language that we've added to many of these orders before when there's a pool and putting something in there.
Yeah, well, it's an RDA, so we usually have asked them to put in erosion controls
Which they showed on their plan.
to notify us 3 days before they start work. Those are standard, and you could put the trench for the backwash in there as well.
Yeah, just a small stone. It's almost like a plunge pool or a
Receptacle. for the-
stone. It's not like I don't want to imagine a trench. I imagine like a waste basket that's size area that's full of stone that you would just put your hose into.
Mm.
So, okay, so if we're ready to issue that with those conditions, Clay, does you understand those conditions?
And make a motion that we issue the order, the issue. the-
Negative determination of applicability.
Applicability for 121 Charles River Street with the conditions so cited.
Have a second?
A second.
All in favor? Peter?
A second.
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Janet, aye. Great. Thank you very much for coming and explaining your project to us.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I usually ask
Thank
if
you.
the applicants have any questions, but. you
No,
can
I
speak.
appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
All right, thank
And who
you.
are we sending this directly to the homeowner?
Yes.
I assume, since it doesn't need to be recorded.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
Thanks.
Good
Thanks.
night, thank you. Is anybody here for 631, 649 South Street?
I actually just received an email, and this may be a phone call coming from the consultant. There was a mix-up on timing, a miscommunication between us and them about when the revisions were going in from. So they are requesting a continuation of the next hearing, hopefully to have a better concept of the revised plans and have them available to be here.
Okay, great. So I'm looking for a continuation, a motion to continue 631 South Street. We'll have to do this twice, I think. Motion to continue 631 South Street till October 14th at 7 PM.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Can I have a motion to
Aye.
continue 649 South Street till October 14th?
So moved.
Second? Anybody?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Peter,
Aye.
Allison, Sue, aye, aye. Great.
Aye.
Continued. Okay, and 34 Border Street has been continued till next week already. I mean, next time, October 14th. And
Yep.
we have meeting minutes from June 10th, 2021. I did read them. I had no comments. Sue, were you able to read them?
Oh, yeah, actually, Clay knows that there was because the template, I think of a different address could get in there with the issuing the South Street order conditions.
Okay,
Clay knows what I'm talking about.
sounds good. Thanks.
They look perfect.
Okay, so can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from June 10th, 2021?
So moved.
A second.
All in favor? Peter,
Aye.
Aye.
Allison, Artie,
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
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 Great. Okay, and any enforcement or violation updates?
No.
No. Do we have people in the audience, Clay?
Yes, it looks like we still have two people in the audience.
Do they have any questions or anything? Or they would ask, I guess, if they had any questions.
I suppose you could open it up if anybody in the audience, anybody watching in would like to bring a matter to the attention of the commission, feel free to raise your hand via Zoom and we can call upon you. If you happen to be calling in over the phone rather than through the Zoom application, feel free to, it's *9 to raise your hand. If you're calling in over the phone, *9.
No, okay, so I guess I will allow whatever, what is it? If anybody wants to make a motion to adjourn? I think we're done.
No, we have a couple other things.
Oh, we do? I don't see anything else. I
I
checked everything.
know.
Is it
No, it's
someone-
just, it's
is
just
it-
our random things.
Is this someone's birthday? What, Deb?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Deb.
It's not my birthday.
Hey.
That's in May, but thank you for the
All right,
warm feelings.
what else do we have?
So I had forwarded you, or Elisa did, the MACC conference. The fall conference is coming up. So if you have any intentions of attending, if you could let Elisa know by the middle of next week so that she can get the payment all set. So take a look at that.
Was there an email sent out for that, Deb?
Yes,
Okay.
I think
Just
Elisa sent it out.
this week, I think. Like yesterday, maybe.
What, that it was sent out? Yeah, could be.
Yeah, it was just this week. Yeah.
Okay, so decide if you plan on attending and we'll take care of it. I had mentioned the Harvest Fair a couple of weeks ago. That is actually coming up on October 3rd. And so we had briefly talked about whether we wanted to have a table and if we had materials to present on that table and if anyone was going to be available to man the table.
Do we have, I mean, I can man the table, but have we already asked them for space?
I had Amy Halson, the new economic development manager person, had sent me an email. So I responded back that we wanted a table, and she responded back that they weren't providing tables. So they were going to be looking for a way to provide us with a table.
No, I mean, for example, I can bring a table, but we need the space. They're tight for space. So will we have a spot for the table, or are we just gonna kind of settle in the middle of the street somewhat seriously?
I assume that it is organized in some manner. Like I said, I had not heard back from her yet. If you are interested, I can reach back out to her. But as far as Janet had asked if we still had materials that we had on a table last time, that I don't believe we do.
We had that pamphlet at one point we printed related to the aquifers, pollution related to lawns and runoffs and things like that. I think we produced it in connection with the Walker Pond project at some point.
We do have pamphlets. We have various pamphlets. I know Janet had mentioned maybe giving away, like little seedlings of native plants or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we could certainly get like seed packets for native like wildflowers or something. Or we could talk about invasive species. I mean, we could kind of have examples, I guess, of invasive species. Maybe, I don't know if we want to have photos. Do we want to have the actual, what do you think would first? October 3rd, Saturday, during the day, is it what, from 1 to 1?
It
It's
is
Sunday. It's a Sunday, right?
Yes.
Hold on.
Oh, that's a Sunday.
The
The
Sunday.
Harvest Fair is on a Sunday?
Afternoon.
Yeah, they merged. They said they essentially merged it with the farmers market is what they did.
Well, it's like the Charles River group. Hold on.
Well,
Let's see.
The name was changed to the Charles River Chain.
Yeah, the Charles
Chamber of
River
Commerce.
Regional Chamber
Commerce,
is hosting its annual harvest fair on Sunday, October 3rd from 12 to 4 on the town common.
Okay, 12
and
to
that-
4.
Yep.
So who is available? Artie's already volunteered. I could be there, but for the two of us, is anybody else interested in participating in this if we so do it?
I can see maybe Bill. I don't know if Steve's usually around on the weekends, but we can reach out to Bill as well.
Artie, are you really in?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean,
All right, and I could be in. So what is, so then, if we're gonna do this, we could either have
I could too.
you could too, great. So we could
Wow.
have potentially 4 and we could rotate through, so just people are there
Each
for
do
2
an hour or
hours.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice to be there with somebody else, so if if it's 4 of us,
Yeah,
and
I
we do 2 hours and 2 hours, whatever.
so
Okay.
the key being what is going to attract people over to the table besides it being a table?
Right, I mean, because stormwater is not usually a big draw.
No.
We are looking into getting a stormwater model.
Nice.
I'm gonna talk to Tony and see if perhaps he has money in his budget, because they are like $2,000.
Is this something where it actually is is an operating waterfall to aquifer, or I mean, what is
Well,
it?
Clay has experience. When he worked in Framingham, he kind of put together presentations with it. So he knows more about it.
Is
But
that-
I want to
okay.
try to work on getting one of those.
What is it, Clay?
Yeah, it's called
It's
the.
like a
company's
suitcase
called
that you open up.
Watershed.
What is it? I can't hear.
It's like a watershed model. It's made by Enviroscape, and it's called the Enviroscape Watershed Model, I think. And it's essentially a large square that has contours in different areas on an area that's a little bit subdivision, a little bit urban, a little bit farmland, and it all drains down to a low point. There's a couple like grates in it where water gets captured, and you're able to add different pollutants or nutrient sources across the watershed, and use these water bottles that you spray down like rain to kind of mimic how all these inputs come together and kind of come down into a single point watershed. And
Is this a model that we're holding and someone's touching it, or is it like a screen?
it's a model, it's like a tabletop model. So it sits out, I think it's probably about 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet, maybe 3 feet by 3 feet. It's sizable so that you can really spray down on it, but it is a three-dimensional. It's got a basin in the bottom to collect the water, so that when you use things like food colorings or other water soluble nutrients, fake nutrients, you can clean it between rounds, so that the next group that comes along, you can kind of reset it and have those conversations about what a watershed is, what some of the other processes like industrial processes or erosion type processes might be contributing to water pollution, what you can do as a homeowner, how people treat things like farmlands. The kit itself comes with a series of questions that you can be using if you wanted to actually go through a very long series of kind of modeling with it. But for some of the Earth Day festivals that we used to bring it to back when I was in Framingham, we usually boiled it down to like a 3 to 5 minute interactive thing for different age groups. And we discussed primarily the inputs that would impact them, like maintaining your car so you don't have oil spills, picking up after your dogs, even in your yard, things like that.
So Clay, you're volunteering to come for that day, and help us out, teach us.
If we get the model, I'll show up for that.
Ooh.
But what's the likelihood that we're gonna get the model by October 3rd?
Not 0.
None.
0. Okay.
Right.
So maybe that's for the next year's
Exactly.
harvest. Okay.
Yes,
So
for
for
sure.
this year,
I mean, I'm happy to go out and collect examples of invasive species.
I like the idea of the invasive species.
Yeah.
So, I
So we
mean,
could have different pamphlets.
Yeah.
I'll make some copies of the various pamphlets we have.
like what kind of pamphlets do we have?
So we have our general wetlands bylaw, kind of, how to know if you have wetlands near you, what do you do,
Okay.
when do you need to file, that kind of information.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what else is out there. Artie, you brought one up. Oh, like the Walker Ponds, but we have the generic one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Walker Pond one, I don't know, was it made specifically for the Walker Pond? I mean, it was made for an aquifer in lawns, and the pollutants coming from lawns.
Allison made it.
A rain garden, not an aquifer. An aquifer is underground.
Well, okay, we're getting into the watershed. It was,
But we had one made
that whole area was a
specifically for
watershed.
Walker Pond.
Yeah, the whole area is a watershed, and the chemicals getting into the watershed.
Do we have the
Mhm.
generic version that didn't
Yes.
Allison make it?
Yep.
So that's good. So we have that. We've got 2. 2's pretty good.
Yep.
And then we could have,
can-
I mean, what would we prefer to do invasive species, or would we prefer to do wetland species? And maybe what invasive species is certainly easy to come by and it's fine to cut them,
Or-
but wetland species may be harder because we aren't supposed to kill them. We just have
Well,
to
I
dig
mean-
them up and put them in a
Or do we talk, or are we talking about chemicals that are going on lawns? Chemicals that are making their way into the wetlands.
Well, I think we talk about those when we have the model
Well,
and that so we can use them.
With Walker Pond, we did the stormwater runoff.
Yeah, I think it was stormwater runoff in the watershed and because wasn't it also creating a rain garden, or was it two different ones? Was there a rain garden one and a watershed one, and what's going on into the,
Hold on. I'm in the office. Give me a sec.
okay. you
what,
have
what,
a-
if- what if this table had some focus on rain gardens?
I love rain gardens.
What if we had, I mean, that's,
Idea.
yeah, what if it's kind of focus on rain gardens, please?
I mean, we could, well, except that so many of them are, don't look great right now. But have a bunch of rain garden plants, like kind of show that these are the rain garden
Yeah.
plants. I mean, it's easy to have photographs of some of those plants, like
Well, we
black-eyed
have-
Susans and purple coneflowers.
We have some of these that we had gotten from Cornell University, a selection of plants for rain gardens.
Great, how many of those do we have?
I don't know. We probably have a dozen at this point, but
Okay.
we can, I'm sure, try to get some more.
Yeah,
Before that, we have, this is our generic guide to
Yeah.
Needham's regulated wetland resources,
good,
planning projects. What do you need to do? What triggers us?
good.
We have this pamphlet on good owners make good dogs. So this is kind of a, picking up after your dog and bagging the poop and doing all that kind of stuff. How
Why
it
it's
protects
important.
wildlife.
Okay,
We have that. We have this one, protect Needham's water and wetlands, talks about water quality, tips
Is-
for stormwater management,
That's-
lawn care,
That's the one that was produced during the
Yeah.
Walker Pond.
install a rain garden. So this is the more
Okay.
generic one.
all right. But that's the
So-
one that was for Walker Pond, but it's generic.
We made generic,
Yeah.
right?
Good.
So we could produce more of these 4 pamphlets if you'd like.
Perfect. Okay,
And then, like I said, I'm happy to collect plant examples if you want. We've just got a laminator, actually.
oh, fun.
So we can print out information on the various species and laminate them. So those can go on the table. Or if we want to put together like a board, to put in front of the table that we can put information
Well,
on.
I think so. They're just kind of, Allison, yep.
I think that if we also had a continuous PDF of information and then had it uploaded somewhere that you could give somebody a website and they could download it to their phone or their computer, that would be really nice. And you don't have to have a lot of stuff. You give a link.
Yep, so would we have one of those, the codes that people could scan and go right to how do we get one of those?
I don't know where you'd upload it, which would be safe for the public to, like, it could be a Dropbox that you just set up for that. I mean, I don't
Well, aren't
know.
all those things on our website? Can't we put them on our Conservation Commission website? Pamphlets?
Then you
Education?
want it to be, then you want to have one PDF that they download that has the information.
Well, the
Wonderful.
QR code, a lot of times the QR code, which is easy to produce, will send, as we know, it'll send them to a particular web page, for example. It won't necessarily send them to a PDF file, send them to a particular web page. Then here on the web page, there's multiple PDF files they can download.
But
think
so
we-
like when you go to restaurants right now, you get the menu and you just get the PDF of that one menu compared to the website. I understand what Allison's saying.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think that's a good idea anyways. I mean, we're kind of behind the times that way, you know what I mean? We could even give that to, information in a public forum.
Yeah.
how do we get QR code.
Well, that's pretty easy to produce a QR code that'll go to our website.
Oh, really? So do we want it to go to our website or do we want it to go to these specific PDFs? And do we make one big PDF that have these 4 pamphlets in it?
I think we have a web page which has multiple PDF files and a subtitle of what each PDF file is, and then you can download the one they're interested in. That's my take.
Clay,
I have
this is
no
more
idea
your
how to do it.
wheelhouse than mine.
Yeah, I don't know how to make that happen, but I'm counting on Clay to figure out how to make that happen. But I like the idea. I think that's a great idea. But then on our table, we could definitely have a poster that has something. We could have a poster that has wetland plants. We could have a poster that has invasive plants.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a poster, I can send that to you again, about the stormwater. So we could have 3 posters if so desired.
I might have that on my door, actually.
Debbie,
Yes.
within the pamphlet, the functions of wetlands, is that included in those pamphlets in one way or another? Because I think that's important. There are lots of people in Needham that's no idea about wetlands.
Right. So there is in our general guide to Needham wetland regulations.
Yeah,
We do talk about
it probably has.
percentage of homeowners have wetland resources on or near their properties. So let's see. Rain garden, pet waste.
Like even with, with climate change now, the way it varies carbon and flooding and.
I don't think we have that in a pamphlet, but that's something that we could put information on the board about.
Yeah, I do think there are a lot of people in Needham that have no idea about the wetlands. I've seen
Okay,
it.
we could put something together, and I don't see why we couldn't gather some wetland plants that are, prolific to have examples.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're gonna gather a wetland plant, you want it to be in dirt, so it's not just a dead plant.
Yeah.
Compared to Japanese knotweed can be dead, it's fine.
Okay, so we'll look for some examples. We'll make more pamphlets.
So I think, yeah, if you just have like 24 of each of those pamphlets, but we really have the QR code that, Clay, do you think you're gonna be able to figure that out? So,
Yeah, I think they have whole apps and websites that will custom make the QR code.
okay, and you'll figure out if you can have it go to the website and have all of those pamphlets. Are those pamphlets on our website anyway? They should be. If they're not, can we get them there?
We do have an education section.
Okay,
I believe they are in there.
so that would be great if that's all you were doing is sending them to there.
Mhm.
And then we need a board that has wetlands plant information on it.
As well as what wetlands are, just kind of a brief overview.
And so you guys, Clay
No,
and
I mean-
Deb, you're gonna create this.
Janet, this is, and Deb and Clay, this is getting kind of bigger than, a bigger issue, but you could, I use, Photoshop and InDesign all the time, and you could make a PowerPoint that have photographs of the wetland plants that were actually on our list, for instance. So people could actually see what they look like. If not for this, but just in general, that we could have a whole educational section that is really informative for everybody. Visual too,
Yeah.
not just a written list. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That might be a nice thing to think about one day.
I do think photos of wetland plants is huge. And so I guess that's kind of what I was picturing with this board, in my
Mhm.
mind, it was pictures of wetland plants with their names,
Mhm.
whatever the good ones are. And then maybe there's another board, then they're right next to each other with pictures of invasive species and their names. So it's just a nice
Yeah.
photograph.
I mean, we do boards all the time, you know, that, I mean, I could take a stab at that. When is this happening? Forgotten now.
In a week and a half.
It's on
It's only a week
October
and a half
3rd.
away.
I
It's
don't
only-
know. I don't think I can do that.
Plenty of
I'm
time.
So flat out.
Plenty of time, Allison, plenty of time.
I know that in my company recently, well, within the past year, we did a invasive species presentation. So I have a bunch of photos of invasive species so that I can send to anybody that wants to print them out and stick them on a board. However you want that to happen. What do you,
Okay.
I mean, what do you want me to do? And how much time, because are you guys in the office? Are you not in the office? What are you guys doing?
So we are in the office 3 days and remote 2 days. We're only in the office together on Thursdays.
Okay,
So this is like this is literally like the weekend after this. So this
exactly.
all needs to come together next
This
week.
week. Yeah, this coming up, yeah, next week.
Mhm, mhm.
And then you're gonna have to get the posters to my house so I can bring them.
Mhm.
They should be
Yeah.
mounted. They should be mounted.
Oh, yeah, they should definitely be mounted.
Properly mounted, you know, and pressed onto the, not, you know, by a company, I mean, or it doesn't look right.
Is
Well,
it all
it
right if I
can-
write their names with crayon? Or is that? You sure you don't have time for this, Allison? I hate to disappoint you in what we're gonna produce here in the next week.
You know, today was supposed to be my day off, and because I've been working the last 2 weekends, and I worked like half the day. It was supposed to be my
Mhm.
day off because
Right.
you know, I have to work Saturday. So I'm just kind of, I don't want to commit to something that, and then, you know, it's just such a terrible time right now for me. Too much.
Yeah,
just too much
I
work.
get that.
And I have a
couldn't-
second job with 2 grandchildren. That's,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then you might just have to be happy with whatever we come up with. Okay? We don't need any criticism.
I
You
would
don't
like
need
to
to
do it. I would
go.
like to do it at some point, but the next week, I can't commit to that, but I would like to do a board, or, you know, to do a visual that's electronic. You know what I mean? That looks beautiful on a screen.
Uh-huh.
And I would
Do we
like
want
to.
to try to do this for this one, though? Do we
No,
have
I
time to
can't.
put this together for
She
this
doesn't
one?
have time. She doesn't have time
Right.
But I can send you photos of some, well, Japanese knotweed and Phragmites. Does
I
that
have
help?
lots of photos myself of
Okay,
these as well.
Okay.
I even have mile a minute vine that I just located.
Oh,
God, I
no.
hate that vine. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just asked about Creeping Charlie. Somebody was asking how to get rid of Creeping Charlie, and it turns out it's impossible. But you
Mm.
might want to have a picture of Creeping Charlie because I guess it's a thing in Needham lawns.
Have
Really?
anyone noticed how awful smartweed is, which is not an invasive plant?
Yeah.
I mean, in my entire lawn is full of smartweed. So
Yeah. There's
Smartweed's
a
not
ton
it.
of it.
Smartweed's not invasive. I assumed it had to be.
I think it's a native plant. I mean, it's weedy. I think it is. I might
pull
be
it
wrong,
out
but it
constantly.
is.
I-
But
I'm
it's
forever-
just everywhere.
everywhere. It's everywhere.
Is Arborvitae native?
Is what?
Arborvitae.
White cedar, but the ones that you see around town, those have all been bred.
The green giant ones.
Well, it originally, the original white cedar is, but that's been bred. So
Okay.
that's a super duper cultivar.
All right.
Is
So-
grass native?
Yeah, lots of grasses are, but they're clump grasses. They're not Eurasian grasses like bluegrass and fescues and
Mm.
perennial
Evan
rye.
Clay, do you have time to do this week to make these boards and to, I mean, just, okay, get a couple of copies So getting 24 of each of those pamphlets, Clay comes up with the QC code, figures out how to do that. And the two of you come up with 2 boards. And if you want to send us with plants, great. And you can drop it all up in my mudroom or my garage. And Artie and I are gonna go and be on this place.
Okay, and so Artie, you are gonna provide a table and chairs.
Oh, yeah, I can bring table and chairs.
Okay, I'll follow up with Amy and find out how the location and logistics are working for it.
Someday, Deb and Clay, I would love to have a beautiful map of, as I said a long time ago, of Needham, where I color every wetland in the town, really beautiful graphic.
That'd be a cool thing.
I would
Yeah.
love to do that one day. I need to know where they are.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I think that would be remember I thought it would be a giant thing in the room, but you could put it on the website. But
Right.
if it's just like more of a diagram, not, you know what I'm saying?
didn't we talk about having that in the room?
Oh, yeah,
In the
and
Charles
yeah.
River room?
Yeah, I mean, but I need to be told now you have to do this by, April 15th.
By next week, you have to take your ethics class. Yeah.
Yeah. Only Janet. Everyone else has plenty of time.
That can be my song for being on the Concom.
Yeah.
So, okay, do we
Okay.
have a plan for that? Like, do we still have people in our audience?
Probably not.
No, they've
It's
left.
an enthralling
Okay.
conversation.
There was one person there until very recently.
They got bored of our chatter.
Okay, so yes, we'll put together something lovely. We'll be
Great.
good.
Great.
And we have one more thing, I think.
Okay, I have one thing
Right.
after you have one thing.
Okay, do you want me to do my one thing or
Hey,
you
you
do your
go.
one thing?
You go.
Okay. Do you recall how we were fine with, they wanted to put some more electric vehicle charging stations outside of PSAB, Hank Half. So apparently it's not going to be as easy as first anticipated. So Clay has a few diagrams. So Hank contacted myself and Lee Newman to talk about the new potential plans for this. So they need to run an electric line, and you know where the stormwater swale is between our building and the water building next door?
Yep.
Janet? Yes. Okay. So in order to reach the parking spaces, which are, can you zoom in a little bit, Clay?
I can see them.
I can't see them. Okay. So you see the EV chargers in the parking lot. Okay. So they now need to run electric to those from the street area. They're going to need to put in a new pole, which you can see proposed private property pole over by the street. So in order to span between there and the chargers, they had proposed running an overhead wire. But Lee stated that the planning board does not allow overhead wires anymore.
Good.
And they're requiring the public to do everything underground. So she didn't feel that that was going to be an option. So they have a couple different potential paths. And so I was out with Hank, and then I brought Eddie Olson into it, because if you can see where the trees are near the road, there's a couple pine trees, river birch, a few trees right in that area. There's 2 clumps of them. So they were planning on running the conduit. It goes 30 inches underground, kind of through that grove of trees. So I was concerned about the roots. So I asked Eddie to meet me out there to discuss. So he feels as though if they did use that path, that it would probably kill a few of those trees, that it would affect the roots. I also talked with Hank about running it along the edge of the driveway there to the water building. So to the left of all the vegetation, and running it so down the driveway. And that wouldn't do anything to the trees, according to Eddie. So that's a potential path. And then on the other side of the water building, potentially doing something on that side.
Yeah, why don't they just make the EV chargers the first spaces in front of the building?
Do you mean the ones on the side of the water building?
Yeah, where there's cars parked right now. Well, there's cars parked, yeah. Or even
Yeah,
the ones, looks like you could make them right there. Aren't those parking spaces?
So those are reserved for DPW right now. So there was a discussion, potentially hooking up to the pole that you can see adjacent to that up at the street, if there's room on that pole, and running it and having them there. According to Hank, there's some master plan where the water building will be demolished and that whole area is going to become parking at some point. So he had some reservations for some reason.
Well,
And they want to have the 2 charging stations, I guess, near the front door of PSAB for some reason. So it's kind of, I guess, Eversource is running this whole thing. And they're giving Hank options of potential paths. So normally utility work like this is an exempt activity anyways. But since they may be impacting trees, I just wanted to kind of bring it to your attention and let you know that I am working to have that be the last resort path that will cause injury to the trees, and look at the other options. And Eddie Olson agrees with me.
great,
So
thank
I
you,
just
because
wanted,
it seems ridiculous to kill trees to. EV is
Right.
great, but
yeah, there's just a very narrow area between that stormwater swale and the trees that they're going to be impacted if it goes in that direction. So just wanted to let you know about it, and I'll keep you updated on to what plan they choose.
great.
Okay, did we have anything else, Clay, that you went over earlier that I said would be in my brain?
I left that list at work. I omitted one of the things. I think the only other outstanding thing from that list was there is some interest again from members of the public to get a tree bylaw initiative going to bring to the select board. So we may have additional information in the near future, or we may have opportunities to take some of the notes that we were compiling just before the pandemic hit about our own updates to the tree policy. We may have an opportunity to provide some of that for a tree bylaw initiative.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
good. I mean,
Lee did mention that the select board is now more on board. I guess they were kind of the limiting factor as to how far the tree bylaw went, the discussion went.
Yep.
So I think they are putting together a committee again. So we will be part of that.
Well, that's good. I think it is important. People don't seem to appreciate how important the trees are, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's good. Anything else, you
so-
guys?
I think that's all for now.
So the only thing I just wanted to share quickly that I was contacted by the trustees of reservation because the Foster family
Oh, good. I wanted an update on this.
have reached out. So like I don't know that this is big public information. I feel like I want to share it a little bit with the commission but there's not a lot to share, except that the Foster property is across the street from Ridge Hill. And it abuts one of the Ridge Hill parcels that we have ownership of. It's always been the top property on the Conservation Commission's kind of list for if a property comes for sale, we would love to have the opportunity to try to purchase it for open space, obviously. It does run all the way down to the Charles River. It's really large. I feel like she told me at 58 acres, and I just can't believe it's actually 58
Yeah,
acres. So
It is, I looked, yeah.
you looked, it's 58 acres. So there's 3 parcels. 2 of them are 3 acres each, and they actually sit on Charles River Street.
Mhm.
And our trail that's on that side of Charles River Street runs through at least one of them, if not both of them. And Mr. Foster has always said it was okay that the trail runs through it. Those 2 parcels easily, may get sold, and our trail that's over there may not be able to run through it anymore, and we might have to change it. There may be opportunities for the town to buy them, but there may be find that they're too expensive, and so they may go up to developers to build houses on there. Maybe I don't have any idea, but it's just out there. And so Barbara Foster passed away a couple of years ago. Mr. Foster was a big conservation person, and he passed away a while ago, but his wife just passed away recently. And there's, I think, 2 children who do not live in Massachusetts that have approached the trustees. Are they interested? And they said that they could not afford it. And they said they would reach out to the town, which was me. And I have sent that off to the town manager and the Marianne Cooley from the select board, and are allowing them to have further discussions. The town has some interest because they know that the Conservation Commission is very interested. I would love to think it would work out, but I don't know that. I mean, I just want you guys to know, because it's something that we will be involved with. If it's something that comes to, fundraising is involved or the support is involved. I did walk it recently with my daughter. Can I share my screen and show you the pictures? Because it was really quite beautiful.
I mean, Janet, is there land that the town has that they could sell that is not so sensitive that somebody, gave them that doesn't, you know what I'm saying?
I have no idea how they're gonna make it happen. But this is like, it's this big open field, and it's a mowed lawn, like all the way through it. So it's just big, wide open. The trees back here are at the Charles River. And so it's
Yeah, we
just,
found a den of coyotes there once.
oh, really? So there's a
Yeah.
lot of, it was really just beautiful. And here's the Charles River, and it goes all the way down there. And wouldn't it be nice if we had a path that went all the way to the Charles River? So that's,
Well, the CPC committee is certainly, it's on the agenda, not the agenda, it's on our radar to try to be part of the initiative of buying some property.
yeah, so, yeah, Artie, I wanted to make sure that you knew, so that, if there's an opportunity for the CPC to, maybe we're going to put in a request by December to see if there's funds. It may be that we are going to look to just buy a portion of it because we can't afford 58 acres.
Are they giving us a special break? Do we have any idea what they're even asking? So we have no idea.
We don't really know. And so it's kind of, now it's slightly out of our hands until the town manager comes back and says that she's had conversations with them. The last I heard, they were, I think, having the property assessed. So it could, who knows what that means, that it could be valued at. But we would, I would love to be able to have a piece, have a little piece
No,
I'm so happy so we can get to the river.
yeah,
I have no idea what will happen, but I wanted you to all know that it's gonna be a discussion.
Well, one nice thing is the family has approached the trustees, so they
Yeah,
have,
yeah,
so it's not like they're just going to builders and say, hey, give me whatever, give me as much as money as I can get type of thing, so.
right.
Mhm.
So they might figure out from the build, or, you know, from however they figure that out, the builders or whoever figures out land costs.
Or
It's valued at, and
the
then say,
reservation, it could be the Foster Memorial Reservation.
could be. That would be fine. I'm in for that.
yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted you guys to know so that if you hear about it along the way, you can, you know, hopefully be supportive, and we'll see what happens. So that's all I know about it, but I wasn't, I don't think we're posting anything in the newspaper at the moment. Then nobody said it was confidential, but it was a sure talk a little bit. So this is talk a little bit in a public hearing with the Conservation Commission.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's cool. All right. 8:09. Wow, we talked about a lot of things and it's only 8:09. That's pretty good. I was thinking we were going on and on.
No, we're just very efficient.
All right,
So
awesome. Okay,
motion to adjourn, is that what we're looking for?
Yeah.
I make a motion to adjourn?
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Janet. Thanks, Janet. Thanks, Deb.
Let us
Thanks,
know
Mike.
that you
Thanks,
have all
Al.
that stuff in my, and you know, you'll drop it off at my house,
Of course we will, Janet.
posters and whatever. Great.
Yep.
Thanks.
We'll
I
go
put it
for-
on my calendar.
Oh, you guys are great.
Bye. I like your haircut.
Thank you.
Bye.
Weddings on the vacation.
Bye.